Attendance is on, guys. Good morning. Is my voice breaking?
Excuse me,
Yeah.
No, sir.
sir. Sir, I accidentally appeared at the CSA and CS1 branch lecture, and I had fill out my attendance form during that interval. So, will there be any problem with my attendance?
What did you do? Sorry.
I actually accidentally attended during the CS1 and CSAI branch of your lecture and
Okay.
filled the attendance form during that interval. So, is it going to be something wrong? Or
But you would not have gotten the what is your like what is the branch that you belong to?
CS2 and IT?
But you would not have gotten the form, right? I mean, I sent these forms to only those batches.
From yesterday night only.
Yeah, but what is your roll number? Tell me.
68. CS.
Like, what is the last two digits of your roll number?
68.
68. Just a minute. How did you get that form? Because this form I have only, the one for your batch, I have only enabled the attendance right now. 68. Okay, anyhow, it's there, right? Fine. So that I don't really it's fine, right? I mean, if it is there anywhere in this attendance, that should be fine.
Okay, sir.
So guys, we were having a lot of issues with good morning, guys. We were having a lot of issues with WebEx in the first session. We actually had to leave WebEx in between, and because the number of participants were less than 100, we could actually go to meet. Uh, I'm not sure how to handle this situation because, um, unfortunately, these are the only two options I have, and if WebEx doesn't work, then I don't know what to do. Is my voice breaking?
No, sir.
So let's hope it works out.
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in the first session, my voice was breaking actually. Okay, so it was a problem with WebEx in general, I guess. Let us hope that that problem has been resolved now. I keep on receiving your emails even during the meeting. I try to answer them till the last moment. Yeah, go ahead.
So the Ubuntu server version is only like command prompt only.
Yes.
There is no any desktop or that we can find like in Windows.
No, that is the whole point of server. But let me say this straight away. The server and desktop, they are basically just packages, okay, set of packages. So what you can do is, and this is something that you have to understand, uh, you can actually create a VM of Ubuntu server, and if your system has enough resources, this is something that you have to understand, that resources are important. Your Ubuntu server can run maybe in up to 1.5 GB of space, 1.5 GB, not one. But if you want some kind of GUI, you need say at least 2.5 GB of space, 2.5 GB of RAM. Okay, so what you can do is, if you have installed Ubuntu server, but on your machine you can actually increase, by the way, you can increase or decrease the amount of RAM to your virtual machine at any point in time. Whenever your VM is off, you can go and increase the RAM or decrease the RAM. Okay, so um, so what you can do is, if you already have installed Ubuntu server, you can still install some Ubuntu desktop over it. Okay, so all you have to do is, I'll just type this command here. This is the command. So if you have enough resources on your system, that means somebody saying 2 GB is fine for Ubuntu. Have you tried Ubuntu desktop with 2 GB, Tejas? Yeah. So,
Sir,
okay, which desktop environment did you use? Just a minute. LXDE or Unity or Genome or KDE? What one? What is it that you tried?
what sir? I am not understanding.
Someone said that, who is it? Tejas, right? Tejas, you said that you have tried Ubuntu 20.10 on 2 GB RAM. What version of Ubuntu did you install? The simple Ubuntu from the website, or something like L Ubuntu? Official website means it is
The
Unity.
link that you have sent me, in the video from there.
No, I'm talking to Tejas. Just a minute, Aditya. So, so if you download from the official website, it is Unity. The desktop environment is Unity. So, as Tejas is saying, Unity works with 2 GB of RAM. So then you can actually, if you can give 2 GB of RAM to your virtual machine, then use this command. I'll just retype the command. If you are having a server machine, just type this command. Where is it? Okay, where did it go?
So, sudo apt install lxd.
Yeah. Just run this command and it will install some desktop environment over it. Some means a very primitive one, but it works.
So if I assign 2 GB RAM, then the host operating system, it will get affected with that or not, sir?
How much RAM do you have on your laptop, on your host?
8 GB, sir.
Oh, sure. Come on, don't be a miser. Give it 3 GB. Okay, give your give your VM 3 GB. That it will not be a problem.
So it's a gaming laptop, so I was having a doubt, sir, whether it will affect my gaming experience.
Don't game at the same time when you're running the VM. I think you
Okay.
can do this much. Okay, when your VM is shut down, it doesn't take any amount of RAM at all.
Oh, then sir, we can do it.
It only takes your RAM when it is running. If you shut down your VM, it doesn't take any memory.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So who are the shepherds? How many shepherds did we had yesterday? 5.
Sami, Vanshdeep.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's.
Also, sir.
Yeah. Just put it on the chat so that everyone can read that you are the shepherd. You are the shepherd. Something like this. Yeah, it's fine. We can have 4 actually, Akshay. It's fine. I mean, I just want to have a panel discussion. So, Acha, I have to pick one. Okay. I'll pick one from your batch. Just a minute. Okay. Where is the list of students? This is okay. Let me pick one from CS today. CS2, I guess, right? After 40. Okay. Rauthu Shashank, is he here? Rauthu Shashank. Not here. Okay. Priya, roll number 55. Is she here? Not there. Suraj Rao, roll number 69. What is it? I mean, are you guys not here or? I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So nobody is here till out of the first three names. Okay, let me scroll up again. Sanskriti Sahu. Is she here? What is happening? So nobody wants to attend the class, is it? Or maybe they have just come in on the meeting, but they are not listening. It's okay. I can't force anyone to listen to. Let's go down. Yeah, Namgyal Angmo Shexpo. Is she here? He or she? Sorry, I'm not. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot make out the. So why is it that none of these people are here? Tanya Bharti. Is my voice not clear?
No, sir, voice is clear.
So then these guys are not listening. Okay, I'm really
Sir, I guess they don't
sorry.
know how to unmute.
Okay, at least put it on chat, guys.
I'll
You guys
share
can at
a
least.
invited tutorial link.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Guys, any one of the names that I've told, I've said this till now, you can just put it on chat that I am here. Oof. Okay, I'll then try one more. This has to be after 40. Jatin Punase. Jatin Punase. What is up with the whole CS batch?
Sir, all of them are present. Their name are in the list.
They are speaking in chat. They are back, sir.
Sir, can you hear me?
Who is it?
Hello? Mohit, sir. Can you
Mohit?
hear me?
Yeah, you are one of the shepherd, right? Mohit, we are trying to find one more
Yes, yeah.
shepherd. And we have failed till now.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to pick one more name. Okay. So, Subhranshu Dandapat. What is happening? Is something wrong?
Sir, it might be Webex, sir.
Don't know, sir.
Okay, that would be an issue.
Sir, because I'm connecting from a different device. So, like my previous device just, God knows what happened. It just
So maybe they just don't want to be the
died.
shepherds.
So you can pick one
But then
from chat.
it is fine. See, that is fine. I have no problem if you don't want to be a shepherd. but please reply it. Okay, I mean there was a person in the previous session who did not want to be the shepherd, but please reply back, right? It is impolite. I'm not. This is you have to learn some basic courtesy. Okay, this is impolite. Um, uh, it's fine. I mean, even if they don't know how to unmute, they can type on the chat, right? So, um, I'll call one last name. If that person doesn't turn up, then we'll start. Uh, Vemula Sai Sumit. Jatin, okay, your microphone isn't working. Is it not getting unmuted, Jatin? There is an option to unmute on the left. Somebody said something. Sorry, who was it? Sai Sumit. So you are there? So okay, yeah, it is a WebEx problem, I think. Okay, how many do we have? Acha, okay. So see, we have 95 people here. Shall we take the risk of going to Google Meet?
Yes, sir.
I had to shift. Yeah, I have to shift in between to Google Meet. So let us try to. I'll create a meeting and I'll put the link here. Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Everybody is there.
And please, so please, when you join Google Meet, join from your triple IT ID, because otherwise I have to accept everyone.
Okay, sir.
Just a minute, guys. I'm creating it. There is some issue in. Yeah, it's there, right? What is the meeting ID? Himanshu, are you there already? I mean, I'm not sure what happened. There is a person. Himanshu Arora. Are you a part of this meeting already? How is it happening? I just created the meeting. Okay,
Hacker,
guys,
sir.
there is. Let me just create another meeting. I'm not sure what is actually happening here. When I'm creating a meeting, there is some person that is already there.
Sir, we should leave this
I'm
meeting.
not sure.
CS.
Sir, we have to
Just,
leave from WebEx.
just a minute. I will give you I will give you a link to join Meet. Then you can leave WebEx. So, guys, is this better?
Yes, sir. Much better.
Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
great. So I actually called on so many names on WebEx. Like, is anyone available? I'm not sure how. I can't even actually because I was picking the names randomly. I don't think I can even uh, you know. uh, Let me just try to
Sir,
find.
Mohit Aswani as a shepherd is here.
So please, like, put your names again, shepherds, on the chat. Shepherds, you just put your names on. So Mukul is one, Vanshdeep is one, Mohit is one. Himanshu is one. I actually called down a lot of names. I'm not sure whether you guys were listening to me or not, but if any of those people whose names I called, they were listening to me but not able to reply, just just unmute and say I am here and we will be the fifth. Okay, first come, first shepherd. Nobody? Okay. Uh, Let me see what names I used. Um, yeah, the last name. Namgyal Angmo Sexpo. I could remember because that is the last name in the batch.
Sir, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So are you ready to be a shepherd?
Sir, can I be the shepherd in the next class?
Fine, that's sure. That's fine. What other names I used? Tanya Bharti I used. Is she here? Okay. What other names? Sanskriti Sahu. Yeah, it's okay, Sanskriti. Are you ready to be a shepherd? I think the person that I called name in the last, that person was ready. Who was it? Sumit, right?
Sir, I will do it the next day, sir. I am not very ready.
Okay, you guys are just embarrassing yourself in front of IT guys.
Then I'll volunteer myself.
Okay, so Dhruv is the fifth shepherd. So let's start, guys. It's already, you know, um, so let's start straight away. I'll just start with my window. Someone is trying to join. Just a minute. Okay.
While sir is opening the document, does anybody have any doubt regarding to BIOS?
Yeah.
Hello.
So we have already. So in my screen, you can probably see my. Can you see the Word document?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
So we have
sir.
already covered these two questions yesterday, but if anyone has any questions, please ask before we go ahead. Oh yeah, Tejas, I am not busy, but yeah, I cannot actually, I mean, I can't say for everyone else. We'll see. We'll certainly take about 10 minutes more. Let's see, 10, 15 minutes more. Sorry again. I have to say sorry every time. Okay, so any questions from these two parts first, okay, and then we will move to the next session. So I guess everything is clear in the bias related stuff. So let's start from here. We have already probably talked about this. What is kernel? Let us start to talk about this question from here and then move towards. Okay.
Hello, okay, Nitesh.
You also did talked about device drivers in the last class.
So
hello,
Nitesh,
sir, can you hear me?
So Nitesh
Yeah.
does have a
Yes, sir.
question, I guess. So you can probably start, Mohit.
Yeah. Nitesh, can you unmute and tell whether you want this explanation to be in English or Hindi?
In Hindi.
Okay. बायोस का फुल फॉर्म होता है बेसिक इनपुट आउटपुट सिस्टम। ठीक है, कंप्यूटर शुरू होने के बाद सबसे पहली चीज जो चालू होती है वो है बायोस। बायोस सबसे पहले देखता है कि उसके पास क्या क्या चीजें कनेक्टेड हैं। वो इनपुट भी डिवाइस हो सकती है, आउटपुट डिवाइस, स्क्रीन, माउस, कीबोर्ड सब चेक करता है। उसके बाद वो देखता है कि ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम किधर है। वो पहले देखेगा उसके कि ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इंस्टॉल मतलब चालू किधर से करना है, पेन ड्राइव से शुरू करना है, हार्ड ड्राइव से शुरू करना है, सीडी से शुरू करना है, और उसका सीक्वेंस बायोस में फिक्स रहता है। बायोस जो स्टोर होता है वो रोम में स्टोर होता है, रीड ओनली मेमोरी। वो तुम्हारे चिपसेट बेसिकली जो मदरबोर्ड रहता है उसमें ही फिक्स रहता है, उसको तुम हटा नहीं सकते हो और उसको तुम ज्यादातर चेंज भी नहीं कर सकते हो। और तुम अगर कोई भी चेंजेस करते हो तो वो सीमोस बैटरी में सेव होते हैं। तो अगर तुमको ऐसा करना है कि डुअल बूट करना है कि मेरे को पेन ड्राइव में डालू उससे मेरा ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम शुरू हो, तो बेसिकली तुमको पहले अपने बायोस में जाके उसको चेंज करना पड़ेगा कि पहले पेन ड्राइव से शुरू करो, उसके बाद तुम प्रायोरिटी दो कि हम हार्ड ड्राइव से ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम ढूंढेंगे। और बायोस के फंक्शनिंग बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स होते हैं, तो बायोस के साथ ज्यादा छेड़छाड़ नहीं करनी चाहिए क्योंकि तुम अपना कंप्यूटर खत्म कर सकते हो, जैसे ब्रिक कर सकते हो अगर कोई भी उसमें ऐसी सेटिंग्स चेंज कर दिए जो कि चेंज नहीं करनी चाहिए थी।
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, does anyone have questions about bootable devices?
So I think we can move to the next question. So the question is, how is it different from? Okay, this I think we have done. Um, let's just start with this question. By the way, if anyone has any queries about previous questions, you can still ask. But if no one has any queries, then Shepherds will start discussing this question.
Okay, since I will begin. So a server of distribution of Linux is basically you start with the terminal. There is nothing except the terminal. A desktop environment and desktop distribution, there is a desktop environment which might be similar to a GUI, basically graphic user interface. So there might be a start menu, a mouse pointer or something else, but that is not generally required for the Linux to function. To, if a living, any task that you want to perform can be operated through the terminal. So basically, the desktop environment is basically more of a dressing. It is made to make it more presentable, more, you can say, beautiful. It is not functionally required for there to be a desktop environment in Linux. If anybody has any doubts regarding this, they can speak up or they can write in the chats.
Can you explain the main function of the Linux kernel? What is it about? I didn't understand a single bit.
Do you want that to be explained in Hindi or English?
Bro, I am talking in English, so definitely English.
Okay. So basically, a kernel is a part of your operating system. Basically, it communicates between the user and the hardware. So the hardware usually are programmed in such a way that they can only understand a particular language. They can understand the multiples of language through emulation, but in general terms, they usually use binary only. And basically, a kernel acts as a translator between the user and the various programs. Because if you are making a program, you might not be making it in binary. You might be making it in C++, you might be making it in C, Java, Python, among other things. So the kernel acts as a translator between that program and the hardware, so that the hardware can perform the circuit functions.
It is basically an operating system, no?
And yes, it is a layer of operating system. It is a layer of operating system.
The
So
kernel is
operating
actually the kernel is actually present at the core of the operating system. The operating system is just like a home for the kernel to stay.
Okay.
So somebody still has, please ask.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are. Yes, you are.
I have a doubt about the functioning of kernel and device driver. Both do access the programs, right? Then what is the difference between device driver and a kernel programming or what? Functioning.
Okay, so a device driver is basically another layer of a kernel. So basically, a device driver is far more specific. So it might be that there is a particular device driver for your monitor. So your monitor might be made by LG or Samsung or another 100 different companies, but then there is a particular for a particular model there's a particular device driver. It can be different for a mouse, it can be different for a keyboard, it can be different for a different pen drive. So a device driver is does operate as a translator, but it is more specific. So sometimes there might be a generalized device drivers also that might be just for a mouse. So they are a collection, and they if a mouse is detected, they try to communicate with it by using various different device drivers which have been inbuilt into the kernel. So if there's a proper acknowledgement from the device, then they're like, okay, this is functioning, we will use this.
As you said, device driver is specific about programs. As I can say that device driver is a part of kernel.
Yes,
Yes, you can.
it is in
Device
simple
driver is
languages. Speak.
yes, you can speak. Dhruv, speak.
Okay. In simple languages, device driver is it just interprets between the hardware and the processors, whereas kernel can do much more. Device driver is just a part of kernel, whereas kernel can do memory management, process management. It can do the device drivers part, and it also works in the security part. So kernel can do much more, and device driver is just one of the functions of the kernel. You can say that.
Thank you.
Anyone else with any queries about these things, or we'll move? Okay, so the next question is, I think we have already started with this. Any questions about this? The difference between a server and a desktop distribution. Everyone is clear about what is the difference between server and desktop? Oh, great.
Does anybody have any doubt regarding distribution?
Yes.
Nitesh is saying he has a doubt regarding server index distribution.
Go ahead, Nitish. You have to ask the question.
What is the doubt, bro?
ब्रो पहले तो मेरे को ये बता दो कि लिनक्स क्या होता है.
Linux is an operating system just like Windows and Mac OS. It is typically used to interact with the hardware. Like we need a operating system so that it works as a mediator between the user and the hardware. It controls the hardware on our behalf.
और फिर ये सर्वर और डेस्कटॉप का डिफरेंस बता दीजिए.
Server in server version, basically there is a terminal only. When you install your Linux flavor in server version, you get to see only the terminal only, while in the desktop version you get to see like graphics and a more user interface you get to see.
ओके थैंक यू.
समझ में आया?
हाँ आ गया थोड़ा थोड़ा.
Linux is different from other. Actually, Linux is given their codes. Really, you can look into their codes. So you can edit your according to yourself if you want. This is right. What is it? Explaining.
So There is a question: why is Linux different from other operating systems? Anyone else? Any of the shepherds would like to answer?
Yes.
So, Linux, first of all, the most well-known feature of Linux is that it can run on very hardware constricted devices. मतलब हार्डवेयर ज्यादा पावरफुल होने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसके बिना भी लिनक्स चल जाएगा. And another thing is Linux is free. So basically the code is the source code is available to everybody. They can make changes. They can make their own version of it. So that is what distributions are. So a lot of organizations have made their own version of Linux. So if you want to compare it, I can give you a simple example. Like in terms like if you want to see like Candy Crush or something similar like a game, maybe PUBG or something. So at the end of it, the core functionality of that game might be same, and there might be hundreds of other carbon copies. Matlab, they will have a different name, they will have a different function, the same. So that is the thing. So Linux is free. So there are lots of different versions of it. There are well supported versions. Then there are non well supported versions. So we usually try to use the versions which have which will be probably be supported in the future. And I don't think anything else needs to be mentioned.
Moreover, using Linux, there is a dedicated community, Linux community that contribute in the upgradation and updating of the OS. So it gets updated every time, and every small bugs patches gets fixed like very quickly. Unlike Windows or Mac, they take time, they take reviews and stuff. But the Linux community, what they do is they themselves find the bugs, optimize it, and make the Linux OS user friendly, more flexible, and that's all.
Okay, so let me
I
give
would
you a very simple way, right? I mean, all of these answers are absolutely brilliant. I'm very happy that you guys were able to say all these things. So, Sanskriti, one of the things that I can say is it is fine if you do not want to be a chef to not know how to cook. But if you want to be a chef, you should know what different, what are the different types of pans in the kitchen. What is the difference between white rice and black rice. How is rock salt different from sea salt. All these things you should know if you want to be a chef. So similarly, if you want to be a engineer who calls himself or herself a CS or IT engineer, if you are not aware of how your underlying hardware interacts with software, there is a gap in your understanding. Okay, you can't be a chef who just decorates dishes. You need to know how dishes are made. So this is probably the reason why I am forcing you guys. I know I am being a bit harsh, but I am forcing you guys to use Linux. I have received some emails where people have basically said, why should I use Linux? What is the problem in using Windows and command prompt? So just consider you have a rigid teacher, a stubborn teacher who wants you guys to learn something more. It is really not my job to teach you Linux, but the idea is throughout your program, try to get accustomed to the Linux ecosystem. Even if you are not that well accustomed, at least when somebody talks about, let us say, ls command or cat command, you should not say, okay, what ls or what cat. That is the whole idea. Okay.
Sir, I would like to add upon it. Like, अगर कोई भी चीज फ्री है ना, तो इंडस्ट्री ज्यादातर कोशिश करेगी कि उसी चीज को इस्तेमाल किया जाए. तो लिनक्स इज फ्री, तो उसी की वजह से ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द प्रोग्रामर्स एंड द इंडस्ट्री यूजेस इट. तो बाद में जाके अगर जॉब करोगे तो उसमें दे विल बेसिकली लॉट्स ऑफ योर कॉलीग्स विल बी यूजिंग लिनक्स ओनली.
लिनक्स हार्डवेयर के ज्यादा पास भी है, इसलिए वो ज्यादा यूज भी होता है. विंडोज और मैक ओएस यूजर के ज्यादा पास होते हैं.
Very good, guys. This is something very, very nice, and it is good that we guys discuss this. And what to link server modifications to link server and desktop. I'm not sure what exactly it means. What do you mean by link?
सर वो सर्वर और डेस्कटॉप डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ लिनक्स की बात कर रहे हैं.
So what you can do is like if you have installed a server version, you can still install a desktop environment over it. Or if you already have a desktop version, you can remove the desktop environment and go back to being a server. That if this is what you guys are trying to ask, it is possible. Okay, they are just a set of packages. You can either install new packages or remove existing packages. So if you remove existing packages, you can turn your desktop distribution into a server distribution. And if you add more packages, you can basically make your server distribution to have desktop as well. These are all customizable things.
So is there any command to remove as well? Any
Yes.
extension?
Yeah, so basically similar to sudo apt install, you have sudo apt remove.
Okay.
This is for Ubuntu, guys. On the Fedora versions, the command is yum instead of apt. You do yum install and yum remove. Okay, so apt is the package manager for Debian, Ubuntu, Mint, and yum is the package manager for RHEL, CentOS. You know, this family. Okay. So the next question is, what is a system call and what are typical examples of system call? So anyone can start.
Okay, before we discuss this, I would like to ask, have you watched the recordings that the sir have put on YouTube, or have you read the slides? If you have not, just type no in the chats.
See, be honest, right? It is very it's required that you be honest. If you have not watched, you have to tell, right? That honesty is very important. You know, it's a life skill. It's not just about computer science.
सर 200 व्यूज थे, 2-4 लोग होंगे नहीं देखे होंगे, बट यूजुअली यस, ट्राई तो लोगों ने किया ही होगा.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I could see
Okay.
at least Nitesh has not watched. So Nitesh, please इसको
Yes.
देख लीजिए, आपके लिए अच्छा रहेगा.
Okay. So I will first explain this in English. If anybody has any doubts and they want to be explained in Hindi, they can ask after I have done my explanation. So basically, sir has compared system calls to similar to a restaurant. So basically, system calls are the orders that a customer places from a fixed menu. So basically, a system call is basically you're typing a command which are already inbuilt into the terminal. So the terminal understands what it means. So even if it is like ls, we might not understand कि उसका मतलब क्या है, but the terminal will understand what it means. So basically it is a short form for a particular function for the terminal to understand, and it makes us easier to make commands. So basically a system, there are different types, there are different system calls. There's a long, I don't know much about the different system calls, but I can explain what it does. So it might be like you might want to get a file, so therefore that there might be a specific system call. If you want to write to a file, there's a system call for that. Or if you want to just delete everything, there might be a system call for that, or something like that. Okay.
So
And
just
now
a
it's
minute, I'll also share a window. I actually had kept that window just for this discussion. Where is that window? So Mohit, this window can probably help you. You can continue.
Yes. So from what I see, yes. So you might want to understand what it means to be a library. So basically, in it, a library contains the list of all the system calls which can be used by the user. Okay, what else?
Okay, so I guess it is probably unfair on for Mohit to explain this. Let me do this, and Mohit can start again. So, so basically, these are some examples of system call. Okay, this is something called as system call list. Okay, so it is quite clear that this list is a fixed list, right? It's not like this list is updated every other day. And it also says that some of these calls are included in kernel version 1.0, and then blah blah blah, a lot of things like mark 2.6 means what, mark 2.7 means what, whatever it is. So basically it says that these are the kind of system calls that the Linux kernel is providing, and these are kernel versions that these system calls were introduced in this particular kernel. So it is quite clear that the people in the Linux community, they understand that what is the current need for for a particular uh, for a particular user program. A user program would probably like one of the system calls to do something like this, or one of the system calls to do something like this. When they say deprecated, it basically means this call used to be there, it is still there, but there might be some problem with this call. Okay, so on all these are, let us say, so this is your menu. Okay, as Mohit said, this is the menu that kernel is giving you, and your application is the customer. You can order anything out of it, any combination of it. Okay, and then you have to create your application in such a way that all the logic that you implement is in terms of these system calls. Okay, so now I guess Mohit, you can take over again.
Okay, so something else that I would like to explain in terms of general function, like I still understand that some of you might not be understanding what is a system call. So basically, system call is a very just a name for a particular thing. So you can understand in a simple terms, like think of YouTube. So if you're in a YouTube and if you double tap on your screen, it moves 30 seconds forward or 10 seconds forward. So basically, instead of get moving 30 seconds forward by yourself, you do double tap. So basically, the system understand what double tap means. So double tap basically it understand that double tap means कि 30 seconds आगे बढ़ाना है. So a system call does the same thing, but it is just very there's a very long list of it. So we will be using some of them, and we might be using a lot of them. That I don't know. That sir will tell probably. So any doubts regarding system calls you can ask right now. So okay, these lists are stored in libraries, and these libraries are generally attached to a kernel. So when you download a particular Linux, it comes pre-built with its own library. So you can add different libraries also. So if you're like, मेरे को कोई system call चाहिए which is not available in this library, so I will go to the internet and get some another library. उसमें है वो command, and I will add that library also. Have I cleared this doubt?
So Ria has a question. Can you answer it?
Sir, I think I answered that.
Okay, sorry. So I actually had to look at some other emails. I just for a moment I lost concentration. Um, so yeah, you cannot add a system call. So this is something that is done, Akshay. This is something that is done by the community of Linux developers. Okay, there is a person called Linus I can never speak his name properly, Travordis or something like that. So he's basically the boss, you can say, of a number of developers across the world, and it is this person who decides, if there is a new system call that needs to be added, okay, or a particular system call needs to be deprecated. Deprecated basically means that within a few versions, it will not be available. So it is recommended that you don't use it anymore. um, so you cannot add a system call, of course. If you want to, then maybe one way to do it is you download the whole kernel code. You go and add it, but then that is not a standard kernel. It is your kernel. You can of course build your own kernel, there is no problem. um, but for standard kernels that you download, let us say from these distributions, no, the number of system calls remain the same. You cannot add anything to it.
No, sir, some Mohit was telling that we can download the libraries and add the system call. So, sir, it is not possible, sir.
No. See, it's like this. The system calls are actually going to be the same as part of the kernel. So your kernel is going to your kernel has, as I said, right, this is a fixed menu. It is possible that you start your own restaurant and then you come up with your own dishes. But if you are going to a standard restaurant, the dishes are fixed. So similarly, libraries, what do they do is, libraries understand how the system calls work. So what are the current system calls on that particular system? So what libraries do is they give you another interface, and similar to a shell, for example, what libraries do is they give you higher level interfaces. What you can do with libraries is you can write some of your own code that is a different composition of the same system calls. Okay, let me tell you the term what composition is. So let's say I have some 10 system calls that kernel provides, and let us say I have written a command that is going to use 5 of them. I can always extend that command and say that instead of 5 I'm going to use 7 of the system calls, or 9 of the system, but I don't actually add a new system call as such. As I said, it is possible, you can do that, but you don't do that with, you'll have to go back at the level of kernel's source code. Okay, so you'll have to build a kernel from the source if you want to add a new system call. Otherwise, if you are not building the kernel, that means you are not I know that build might be a difficult term to understand right now. When we will start coding in C, you will understand what does it mean to build a code. Okay, but the idea is, for now, just assume that kernels are not modifiable. At least for your level, they are not modifiable. They are basically fixed. But what you can do with kernels, that there is a whole variety of things that you can do with kernels. So the amount, these system calls, that list that I'm showing, is it already, have I stopped sharing it, or you guys can see that list page, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
So there are so many system calls out there that you can do so many things with those system calls. Okay, so the composition means using a combination of these system calls, you can do so many powerful things that you probably don't even know of. Okay, so this is probably what Mohit was saying, that if you work at that level, if you know what your system calls are, you can probably do magic something that is similar to magic in the computer world. So yes, if you want to be a system software developer, this is another term. So system software are basically software like operating systems. If you want to be a system software developer, then you'll have to take a deep dive into this world of system calls. But most of us are not system software developers, we are application developers. So there we actually don't really need to know about system calls. We will be working at the shell level or command level. Okay, so this is the difference. You should still know what kernel is and how kernel operates, just for your understanding. But in most of the cases, you will probably not modify the kernel or use the system calls directly. I plan to offer a course in the second semester for you guys if I am here, where I will be teaching you C++, and in that course I will actually get a lot of things done with you using system calls, but not in this semester. Okay, so yeah, go ahead, Mohit. Sorry,
So you can basically relate it to like a remix of a music. So like a song, like there can be an original song and you can make your own remix, but not everybody can make a remix. You need to know the functioning of it. You need to know all the uh, what do you call that? Software and all the things that you require, all the tools that you require to do it. So we don't know the tools that which are required for it. We might learn it in the future. Uh, so yes, there can be, but a remix might not be as popular as the original song, or it might be more popular than the original song. So those are the different ways that kernels can differ also.
So any questions about system calls, please ask right now.
I had a doubt that we say that system calls are already installed with the kernel. So we say that applications cannot directly interact with the kernel, so they make a request in the form of system calls. But in order to access those system calls, they have to interact with the kernel. So how do they make that request to the kernel?
So that understand it in a similar way to a taxi. So basically, you cannot drive the taxi, but you can tell the driver where to go.
So Ria, when we'll start coding in C, you'll realize that what you can do, when you write a C program, for example, there are something known as function calls. Okay, these function calls are similar to your functions in mathematics, right? So when I used to say f of x comma y equals x square plus y square plus 2xy. Okay, so what did it mean? It meant that if you have two values for x and y, I can tell you another value, that is f x comma y, right? This is what you have learned in mathematics, that there is something known as there is a concept of a function. So now I don't have to write x square plus y square plus 2xy at every place. I just write fx comma y, and you understand what fxy means, right? You understand that I have to give it two inputs and I will get an output from fxy. Similarly, what happens is you really don't need to know if it is x square plus y square or 2x plus 2xy. It could be anything, as long as you have two inputs and you get an output from it, and the output is as per expectations. You don't care what the actual function is. I can simply write f of x comma y. So the same thing is that there is a mechanism when you'll start writing code where you don't really need to know the details of a particular function call. We call it a function call, that I basically supply some inputs to my kernel. I say I want to execute this operation, and these are some of the inputs that this operation needs, and can you please perform the operation on my behalf and return me the result. And there is a mechanism to do this. There is a mechanism to communicate this to the kernel. You cannot directly access the hardware, but kernel is directly accessible. It's just that the language it speaks, it is basically the composition of your system calls. Okay, so it's like saying you are sitting next to a person from a foreign country. You can touch that person, have a look at that person, but you cannot communicate unless you know that person's language, right? So that is the same thing. Kernel is there. It's not something that is hidden. It is not something that is private. It is accessible to you. But if you want to communicate with it, you need to know its language, and its language is system calls. So if you want to talk to a person from France, you need to learn French, right? If you keep on saying in English, that person won't understand anything. So there is a way in which you access your kernel, and when we will start coding, you will realize what that way is. It is called as a function call. And I gave you a crude comparison from the functions of mathematics, that if I tell you fx comma y equals 31, in many cases all you'll ask me is, okay, what is x, what is y? You probably don't need to know what is the actual fxy, as long as you have a value for fxy for any given x and y. You can plot it on a graph paper. If I tell you that give me any values of x and y and I'll give you fxy, now you can plot it. You don't need to know what what fxy is. The same analogy is here, that kernel is basically abstracting the details of what goes on in the background. When you want something to be done, you just ask the kernel, I want this thing to be done. And there is a way to ask, as I said, that you will learn when you will start programming. And the kernel simply does the job and returns you the result. Is it clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else has any doubts related to system calls? So we are already out of time, but probably I can take we can initiate the discussion on this, and we will continue this discussion tomorrow. So these are the questions that are left for this week. We will take it up tomorrow. But if you guys have like 5 more minutes, we can start discussion on this, and we will continue tomorrow.
Sir,
can we discuss about the lab?
Can we discuss about the
lab, like what will be needed, or like
today's lab is actually
like
an
today?
informal lab. Today's lab is an informal lab, so it's like I will give you a link on your email where you'll have to join. It will be either it has to be WebEx only, because 100 people problem. I will give you a WebEx link. Just join that link for now. I will tell you, if we can have discussions on VirtualBox, virtual machines. If any one of you could not actually create virtual machines, then those things can actually be asked. But by the way, it is not for you guys, is it? It is only for CSAI.
Okay, sir.
I'm not sure. Like, I checked the time. I don't think it is for you guys. Yeah, somebody said it. Today's lab is for the other CSAI plus guys. You guys have it tomorrow.
Okay, sir, okay.
But it is right. I mean,
Okay,
this
sir.
lab is not an evaluated lab. I will just explain to you how labs will work from next week onwards, and I will introduce the TAs to you so that you understand, what is going to be the model from the next week onwards. So yeah, it's not for you guys anyhow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So okay, I guess we can. Okay, yeah, Rohan, I'm not sure everyone is that interested in extending classes. So otherwise, I would have extended.
Sir, can we ask question 6 and 7 on mail?
Oh yeah, sure. On mail, I probably answer. I don't know if any one of you has any complaints about not getting answers on email. I think I have answered. I answer about 100 mails every day. Okay, so you can keep on questioning me on email anytime.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that is what Shreya has, right? Shreya said that they've been in class for 3 hours. So please let's break. We are actually doing good. These are the 3 questions that we have left, and we will do these 3 questions tomorrow. These questions should not take so much time. So thank you guys, and thank you for.
Is there any no lecture for tomorrow, sir? Or
no, there will be a lecture. There will be a lecture tomorrow. Tomorrow where there will be a lecture.
Okay.
There is any lab today, sir?
Pardon?
Any lab today, sir?
Lab, I think for you guys the lab is tomorrow. It is for the CSAI batch. They have their lab today.
Okay,
yeah.
before we end this class, I would like to say that if anybody has any doubts and they want to be specifically explained in Hindi, they can message me in private on WhatsApp. But don't spam, yaar. Otherwise, you will be blocked and I will not respond to anything. That's all I would like to say.
Okay, thank you, Mohit, and thank you, Mohit. And see, this is something that you should understand, that I will have only these session only for 3 hours a week. But when the course runs at a high speed, it is possible that 3 hours may not be enough. Okay, and what you guys should understand that this is a model that you can pick up. Okay, so it is possible that you guys start arranging your own sessions of discussions. The only thing that I'm trying to say is everyone might understand some part of your some part of the lectures that I give even after multiple emails. Just help each other out. If someone knows something, learn it from that person. So you can have these shepherding sessions informally as well. Okay, I have limitation because I have been given only 3 hours of time. So but you can keep on doing this on your own. Okay, and thank you all the shepherds, Mohit in particular, but of course all the shepherds, and thank you guys, and sorry for the delay again. I keep on taking your time beyond the limit every day, so sorry for that. And let us meet tomorrow. Okay, let's hope that WebEx works tomorrow. Thank you. Bye guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.